I want to start today off with a question for y'all to answer down in the comments. When I mention the rhythm game genre, what's the first title that pops into your head? Pause the video for a second to go answer that, but I'm expecting a lot of people to say stuff like Friday Night Funkin', Guitar Hero, or Parappa the Rapper. Maybe if you're feeling a little spicy, you thought of something like Crypto the Necrodancer, Rhythm Heaven, or Just Beats and Shapes. Those are the titles that I used to think of at least, but now if someone asks me about rhythm games, all I think of is this. This is Beatblock, a game made by Bubble Tabby that's been in development for about 4 years by this point. I first played the demo about a year ago in December, but ever since then, this game has become my obsession. I can't help but gush about this game every chance that I get, and it's gotten to a point where I either need to get it all out or find more people that are just as hooked as me. Hopefully, one of those is gonna happen today, so let's get this going. I'm just another Sam, and this is why you all need to be playing Beatblock, the best rhythm game out there right now. No, this video was not sponsored. Currently, Beatblock does have a free demo, so if you like anything that you see today, be sure to click the link in the description below, go to their Steam page, and download it now. You will not regret it. For anyone that's ever played Undertale, you definitely remember the Undyne fight, where you have to block the arrows coming at you to the beat of the music. Well, Beatblock is essentially what would happen if someone took that concept, expanded it as far as it could go, and then made a whole game around it. The way the game works is that notes will fly in from the borders of the screen to the center, and it's your job to use your mouse, or controller like I prefer, to move the paddle to block the beats and avoid the mines. There are also inverse notes that you have to hit with the other side of the paddle. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, it gets a lot more complicated once the sides and the taps are thrown into the mix. When you see a note that looks like this, or when a giant circle begins to close in around the paddle, you need to press the Z or X key, or A button on your controller, for it to register as a hit. Then there are these long notes called sides, where instead of hitting them head on like everything else, you have to swipe at them with the side of your paddle, and yeah, they can also have taps attached to them too. Again, it all sounds pretty simplistic, but it comes together in such a perfect way that keeps the gameplay loop engaging and exciting, yet still simplistic enough for anyone to play no matter their skill level. Hell, if the taps and sides do make things too complicated for you, you can make the timing on them more lenient or just turn them off altogether if you want. So early access update, they actually added a new type of note. These triangular shaped blocks are bounce blocks, and like the name says, they bounce off your paddle and you need to hit them multiple times. Some will even move around you after each hit, with arrows telling you what direction they're gonna go. You know, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever actually seen a rhythm game that plays like this. And according to the producer, music lead, art lead, and more of Beatblock, CV35W, that's exactly what the team was going for. Yeah, you heard that right, your boy actually somehow got to talk to one of the developers of the game. I'm not exactly sure how or why this happened, but I'm not one to question a good thing. To quote CV, I think it's common to either have A, music-based games where inputs are movement-based, geometry dash, just beats and shapes, etc., or B, music-based games where inputs are rhythm-based, but not necessarily both in one. You see some in category A in a lot of rhythm arcade games like My or WACCA, where they can have wacky or custom-made control schemes. Both have circles, but not necessarily something that's meant to operate off PC. In that regard, Beatblock straddles that fence. Thinking back on all the rhythm games mentioned earlier in this video, CV's kind of right when they say that. Really think about it. What rhythm games actually have both movement and rhythm-based gameplay at the same time? Sure, you could make the argument that something like Crypto the Necrodancer and Hi-Fi Rush do, but those are more action-based games with rhythm elements. I'm talking 100% rhythm. Beatblock is the only one I can think of. Personally, I think CV and the rest of the team nailed their goal of finding that perfect fusion because this really is a unique experience. Actually, quick side note before we move on, while on the topic of Beatblock's uniqueness, we do gotta talk about the Undertale Elephant in the room. He's been in the corner the whole time staring at me. During my talk with CV, I did ask if the team was inspired by the Undyne fight in any way, shape, or form, and they told me it was purely a coincidence, but they also don't mind the comparison. They said they honestly find it kind of fun to see what people are comparing Beatblock to. Plus, with the Gerson fight in Deltarune Chapter 4, and that one part of the Switch version that somehow looks even more like Beatblock, CV knows they're not beating the Undertale Deltarune allegations anytime soon. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's move on. Something else that really makes Beatblock work is its sound design. Which Yeah, I get how saying that sounds pretty obvious. I get it, it's a rhythm game. The sound is going to be good, but I'm talking about more than just the music. Every time a note hits your paddle, every time you swipe at something, and every time you tap, a little click happens. I don't know what it is about the click, but it just feels so good to hear, and because a lot of the time it will happen on beat, it feels like you're playing part of the music. But yeah, while I am on the topic of sound design, let's talk about the music, which slaps so hard. Currently, Beatblock has 27 songs. Well, 27-ish. One of them is Gone Fishing, which is... yeah, that's its own thing. Don't forget though, the game's still in early access, and according to the Beatblock Twitter, the full version is actually gonna have 40 songs. I really love the variety of genres they ended up using. Gritted Strings is like something out of a western, and I don't even know what to define Omelet Cafe as. It's a small thing, but using songs like those, songs that you usually don't hear in indie rhythm games, is just another way that Beatblock stands out. I'm really excited to see what other genres they throw in for the final release. The songs range from easy to hard on the game's difficulty scale, with a lot of them even having an easy and a hard mode, which is a really nice touch. Speaking of the difficulty, let's talk about that too, because that's something else that Beatblock handles in a very unique way. Each song is given a number value from 0 to... You know, I actually don't think there's a limit. Weird. With the harder songs getting a higher number. That part is pretty standard, but what's really unique about the way this game handles difficulty is that no matter how many notes you miss, you will never get a fail screen. You could not touch your mouse for the entire song and still get to see everything the level has. As someone that personally sucks at most rhythm games, I love this. In my opinion, that just makes this entire experience a lot more relaxing and enjoyable than say something like Friday Night Funkin'. Cause in Beatblock, there's no fear of the game just pulling the plug on you simply cause you didn't know what was coming next. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are at the game. Every player is able to experience everything offered to them. Now at the same time, that doesn't mean there's no consequences for relentlessly sucking. At the end of each level, you get a rank from F to S, and I would be lying if I said anything below an A rank didn't bother the shit out of me. Another quick update, the early access build actually added more reasons to get a good rank beyond just bragging rights. Cranky, the official name for the player character, now has different costumes that can only be unlocked by getting an A rank or higher on specific songs. But it doesn't stop there. 89% of the time, you unlock a new song by just playing the game. 3 of the songs, though, are listed as extra, which all have unique unlock requirements that all involve doing well during gameplay. The difficulty from this game doesn't come from a struggle to finish it, it comes from working to unlock everything, which once again, I love. But if that's not enough for you, there's an accessibility option that'll actually reset the song when you miss a note if you want that extra challenge. Man, those accessibility options make it really hard to complain about Beatblock. Sucks there's nothing you can do about the barleys though. Well, I mean, there kind of is. I don't know, let me explain. I mentioned them before, but I never explained how they work. Basically, you get a barely when you hit the note with your paddle, but just barely. Like you barely hit it, so you get a barely. Getting one doesn't ruin the combo, which is nice, but it does prevent you from getting the perfect rank. Now personally, I'm not going for the P rank on every level, so these don't really bother me, but for somebody that is, I can see these being really annoying, which makes you wish there was a way to turn them off. Which leads me to what really bothers me about the bareleys. There seems to be an option to turn them off, but it does nothing. If you hit the options button before going into a level, there's one that clearly says no bareleys, but enabling it doesn't seem to do anything. I played multiple levels with this option enabled, and every single time, it still registered every barely. So I don't know what the hell this does or if it's working properly. At the same time though, I've seen nobody else in the Beatblock community even talk about this, so I don't know. It could just be me. I might be gaslighting myself into going crazy. Again though, it's not the barely mechanic that bothers me. It's the fact that there's this option in the game and I can't figure out what it does. That's what bothers me. With that one minor exception though, the game really does let you customize almost everything with the accessibility options. Don't like the taps or sides? There's an option for that. Don't like the fact you can't fail a song? There's an option for that. Don't like the visuals of the game? There's an option for that too. Oh, you didn't think I'd forget to talk about those, did you? Easily, the most eye-catching part about Beatblock is its art and animation. In fact, the entire reason I even started playing this game in the first place is because I saw a video on YouTube and had to know if the entire game looked like this. When I found out it did, I basically squealed with excitement. Sounded kinda like this. Again, what other rhythm game looks like this? Each song has a unique background and art style that's constantly changing as you play. I really like Rhythmic Shield, which looks like an old school turn-based RPG, you all know how much I love those, and Beatblock, which you're seeing on screen right now. According to CV, the decision to do this was simply just because a lot of the dev team had a background in visually complex rhythm games. They also intentionally gave the game a limited palette, which helps Beatblock have its own artistic identity compared to others in the same area. I think their decision to do that worked out so well, and the ever-changing backgrounds are an amazing way to keep the player hooked. I couldn't stop playing because I had to see what crazy stuff the next level would have. By the time I got to the last song, I was so excited for the full release, but still desperate for more. But thankfully, Beatblock had one more thing to keep me coming back. I'll be honest, if this game was just 27-ish songs and nothing else, I would not be making this video. Yeah, I would have been excited for this game, but what really pushed me into obsessed territory is just the amount of content coming out of the Beatblock community. Normally, when a game like this has fan-made stuff, it's typically mods or something never really intended by the devs. Well, the people at Bubble Tabby said fuck that and added the level creator to the demo for anyone to use. To quote CV again, we all got our start in rhythm game custom, so we always wanted to give other people that experience too. It's also a very cool creative scene. In its current state, the level creator is extremely complicated, but that's because according to CV, it's basically the same tool the team uses to make the actual levels, minus a few dev-only features. If you're interested in how all of this works, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place. I have no clue where to even get started in all of this, and I doubt I will ever have the patience to fully learn. But the people that do know how it works though, oh boy, that's that good shit right there. The easiest way to find the custom levels is to join this Discord right here. Beyond simply having the finished custom levels, it also has channels for works in progress and places where you can ask the rest of the community for help creating your own. The absolute best part in my eyes though is that Bubble Tabby made sure it's so easy to download any level that you want. All you need to do is click on this option in the game to open the folder, make sure you copy the pathway, download and save the levels to that folder, unzip them, and boom, you can play it. Whole process takes less than a minute. There are an ungodly amount of levels to choose from, and if you thought the creativity in the demo levels was impressive, trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Since they basically have the same tool as the people that made the game, creators are allowed to make levels that meet and sometimes even go beyond what the developers thought was possible. Some of these visuals will blow your mind, and a few of them even add new mechanics. Bounce blocks were actually in a custom level before they were in the official game. Someone even managed to put the entirety of the Never Gonna Give You Up video as the background for a level. How did they do this? Are they a witch? Were witches involved? Now don't forget, these are fan-made levels, so it's not uncommon to run into a few of them that don't have the same amount of polish as the official ones. Sometimes you'll find a level that'll make you feel all like, this is amazing! And other times you'll run into ones that are more, help! Also, some of the more visually intense levels could lag your game, which you better believe I experienced. I swear a potato would run games better than my computer. Another thing that would happen to me a lot is sometimes the game would just freeze for a few seconds, but the music would keep going, so I'd miss a bunch of notes through no fault of my own. What's really weird about this though is it only happened to me during the custom levels, not the official ones. To make it even weirder, I could play the most visually intense level and it would be fine, but then I would go to one with no visuals and the freezing would happen again. I couldn't figure out what was causing it. My best guess is that it's a loading issue with the custom levels, but because I'm not 100% sure, I figured it's worth bringing up just in case it's something that could be fixed for the full release. I don't know, if you played the game and you've had the same issue, let me know. One last thing, since this has become the Sam Bitches for a little bit part of the review, I want to explain why I prefer the controller over the mouse. See, a lot of the custom levels do this thing that moves Cranky around the screen. Don't get me wrong, I think it is cool, and you'll see later that I like levels where it happens. But if it's not implemented right, it can become really annoying playing with a mouse. That's because the way the paddle works is that it will face whatever direction the cursor is, but from Cranky's position. So if the level has him moving around the screen a lot, you could very easily lose control. To be fair, there are levels that are designed around Cranky moving, and they are done very well. Like the official one where he does, and this one that you're seeing right now. Unfortunately, those seem to be the outliers, not the norm. A perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about can be seen in this amazing spider dance level, where not only are you moving up and down constantly, but the thing is shaking too! Look at this! This is fucking ridiculous! Using a controller, though, eliminates this problem entirely, which is why I prefer it, because no matter where you are on the screen, down on the analog stick is always going to be down. Thus ends the man yelling at Cloud portion of our video. Thankfully, everything that I just complained about either didn't happen too often, or I was able to find a workaround, so it didn't really negatively impact my experience with the fan content and the game as a whole. Despite all these minor issues, I could just gush about so many levels for hours. Queen of the Night, 1,000 Doors, Feel Good Inc. I could literally talk about these and so many more all day if I wanted to, but if I went over every single custom level I thought was amazing, this video would never end. So instead, I'm gonna try and limit myself to my personal favorites and categorize them the best that I can. Like I said before, there are tons of fan levels, so if there are any that you think I missed or deserve to mention here, let me know. Give me more levels, please. If you're looking for something that's just pure insanity, you need to try out Big Shot, Make It Funky, or Wee Wee. All three of these may be really hard, but they go absolutely nuts with the visuals and mechanics, making them such unique experiences. Big Shot has some of the most chaotic visuals you will find in any of the fan levels, and really captures the vibe of what a rhythm fight against Spamton would have been like. Also, Piffus. Make It Funky, while not being as visually interesting as Big Shot is, does so much with the paddle that you just don't see in any of the other levels that I've played. The sense of movement you get is also insane. I don't know exactly what the creator did, but it just feels different to other levels where the paddle moves around the screen a lot. Still though, this is another level where I think it's improved when you use a controller. Meanwhile, Wee Wee not only starts with a cutscene, but throws everything at the wall to see what sticks, and it all does. It's all great. I could go on and on about all three of these, but that wouldn't do these justice. Trust me when I say half the joy of these levels comes from the shock of actually experiencing them yourself. If you're looking for a challenge that comes from fun and fair gameplay instead of insane visuals, you're either going to want to play Reach for the Summit or Devourer of Gods. Let's start with Reach for the Summit, where you go through the soundtrack of Celeste Chapter 7. I mean, let's be real here. If you guys have been here before, you all know I'm a sucker for any Celeste content. But this goes above and beyond. The full version is over 10 minutes long, but if you want, there's another version you can download that lets you play every section individually. I do recommend starting with the 10-minute version though for the full experience. Every time you reach a new section, not only does the music change, but the visuals do too, leading to the best feeling of progression. And when you reach the end of the gauntlet, it all culminates in the best way possible. I'm not going to spoil it here, but trust me, if you're a fan of Celeste, you'll love it. Then there's Devourer of Gods, which is actually 14 minutes, making it the longest level in Beatblock I've played so far. This one is actually a collab between a bunch of the creators in the Beatblock community, and it is so good. Each of them also puts their own little spin on whatever section they worked on, meaning there's plenty of variety to keep you entertained during the incredibly long level. It's a little weird, but it kind of reminds me of the Big Shot level, because it gives me that same feeling like I'm fighting against something. But hey, why listen to me talk more about it when you can go play it yourself? Quick little mini section before we move on, because I want to talk about Trinity Encore. I couldn't decide if it should fall into the insanity or challenge category, but it's just too cool for me to not mention. It uses the music from that amazing Friday Night Funkin' mod versus Rewrite Round 2. Clocking in at just a little over 8 minutes, this is one of the most visually insane levels I have seen in a long time. It rivals Big Shot in that way. I'm not going to spoil it here, but the last 2 minutes blew my mind. The guy that made this has some serious talent. Despite all the crazy visuals though, it still manages to be a fun and fair challenge, for the most part. There's a really good reason why there's a seizure warning before you start the level, and those sections do make it very hard to see what's going on. Even with that minor flaw, well, it's minor if you don't get seizures, it's still an amazing custom level that I recommend everyone try. Alright, everything I mentioned so far has been pretty challenging, so you know what, we're gonna dial it back a little bit. Let's get chill in here. If you're looking for a level with amazing visuals but without the chaos of Big Shot, I think I got just the thing for you. Reincarnation Apple. In the description for this one, the creator said that all of this was just a test to see what they could do with the visuals. Well, if this is them testing, then wow. Them testing is better than most people's actual final product. There are so many different visual styles used, and somehow, no matter how much it changes, it never becomes too hard. You can still easily follow all the notes. Not enough visuals for you? Well here, check out the Gravity Falls theme map. I mean, Wow, how do they even do this? I know I said it before, but this must have been done by witches, right? This is witchcraft. Made by someone who struck some sort of a Faustian-type bargain for incredible talent, it is a short yet intense ride that will leave you stunned. Now maybe all that intensity isn't your vibe, maybe you're looking for a custom level with some chill visuals. Well, don't worry, I got one more level that should give you that relaxing vibe you're looking for. This is Summer, a level with incredibly chill visuals that will still blow you away. While this one might have the most simplistic visuals compared to the other levels, out of the 3 in this category, this one's actually my favorite. Now don't get me wrong, when I say simple, that doesn't mean this isn't impressive. It is, but in those other levels, the background is constantly changing, the paddle is moving. In this, you're just looking at a sunset. But there are 2 main reasons why I love this one so much. One of them is, just look at the background, just look at that sunset, it's breathtakingly beautiful. As the song goes on, the sun continues to set lower and lower, which changes the colors of the background too. It's just a cherry on top of this visual sundae. And reason number 2 as to why I love this one so much is that it's a good kid song, and this is the vibe you want when you're listening to that band. The visuals matching the vibe of the song does a lot for my enjoyment, and all of the levels I mentioned before do it, but it just feels different in this one. I don't know why. All the pieces just come together in the best way possible, and it makes you feel so good. I had the biggest smile on my face for the entire duration of this level. And the entire ending just gave me the warmest feeling the first time I saw it. I don't know what it is, but something about this level just makes you feel happy. But, with all that said, it's still not my favorite level I've played. So let's move on to the main event. If you want what I think is the best custom level in Beatblock, you need to try Otonoke. No lie, this is the level that got me to start playing Beatblock in the first place. I saw a little clip of this level on YouTube and it instantly hooked me. It just has everything you could want from a level in this game. Otonoke is already an amazing song and the level quality matches it perfectly. The gameplay is fun and challenging where, yeah, the first time you play it, you can do well, but if you really want to master it, you gotta practice over and over again. Oh, and the visuals. My god, the visuals. The creativity on display here just blows my mind. Every single background in this level is beautiful, and despite the fact that it really gives you this nice feeling of movement, Cranky stays in the center of the screen the whole time. Which means, yes, I can play this one with a mouse. But the creativity is shown here in more ways than just the backgrounds. For the longest time, this was the only level I knew of that changed the way the notes looked. There's this one part where you have to dodge these clouds because somehow they act as mines. I really have no clue how they did that, and again, for the longest time, I had never seen another level that did something like this. It's just perfect. I could go on and on about this level, but the only way you'll truly believe how amazing it is to play it yourself. Go try it right now. Well, not right now. Finish the video first, obviously, then go try it. Like I said though, there are so many amazing custom levels out there, and unfortunately, I just don't have the time to talk about all of them. I completely forgot to mention Special Attack, which I'd put up there with Otonoke as one of my favorite maps, and Stylish Stick Up, which has quality on par with the official levels. Real talk, half the reason I made this video is just because I want more people to be making levels for this game. I want to see how far people can push it. But the other half of why I made this video, and the more important reason, is just because Beatblock is an amazing game that deserves everyone's time and recognition. Up top, I made the bold claim that Beatblock is the best new rhythm game, and even after doing such a big deep dive into it, playing it for hours and hours, I still believe that with my entire being. From the visuals to the music to the controls, this game is just in a league of its own. I am staggered that it doesn't have more recognition. More people need to be playing this game, not just because I want more custom levels, but because this game deserves it. Hopefully, Bubble Tabby will get that recognition, because if the leap in quality from demo to early access is anything to go by, the final version of Beatblock is really gonna be something special. But again, don't take my word for it. If you haven't yet, go download the demo. Go buy the early access version. Trust me, it is awesome and you will not regret it. Huge thank you to CV35W for letting me interview them for this. Again, this video was not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, so they really had no reason to help. With all that said, one more time, I am just another Sam. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you here next time. Hey, if you're still here, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the next video comes out? Or if for some reason you just really like my voice and want to hear more of it, go check out my podcast, My Parents' Basement, on Spotify or any other major streaming platform. I promise, we are coming back soon. If you notice I said anything wrong or just want to correct me, be sure to let me know in the comments. I do read every single one of them. Or let me know if you have an idea for what my next video should be. Just don't say the advanced lobby video. I swear I am working on it. Okay, now I'm actually done. See ya.